Hello everyone! Welcome back to your regularly scheduled and yet very irregularly run development streams with me. Today's a special day because it's going to be my see how long I can talk to you before I start coughing like I've been a smoker for 20 years challenge, because I had COVID and it really fucking sucked. And I'm still affected by that. So I'm gonna do my best to mute when I have to pack up a hairball or whatever. But, you know, slightly degraded experience might be expected today. But regardless, I'm happy everyone's here. Hey there, Zithia. Hey there, Luma. Hey there, Christmas Tree Farmer. Oh yeah, this is the first time we're doing a simulcast for real. Hey there, Tokyo Spliff. Yeah, we got YouTube and Twitch, and I'm breaking Twitch TOS right now by merging the chats, which is ridiculous. So that's against the rules, but you know, if no one snitches, we should be fine. Hey there, Alan. Yeah, so how's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? I was just looking at my broken ass code, trying to remember what I was even doing, and I don't know anymore. Yeah, so for those of you who haven't seen my work in progress project before, I know there's like some YouTube people that might have only experienced what I've been doing from like my 2 videos that I've ever posted, and then my 7-month silence. Oh, thank you for the 100 bits, Zith. Yeah, so this is my game engine. It's called Zephyr. It's a voxel game engine. All of the content that is defined and like visible here is defined through JavaScript, and it's sandboxed, and it you know, is basically like network transferable mod data. It's Vulkan right now, actually. So for a long time I was using OpenGL, and the first video on this channel was talking about OpenGL rendering techniques for this engine. And then I actually tried implementing all of those techniques, found out there was a ton of horrible footguns with OpenGL, and although technically you can do the stuff that I said in OpenGL, I just got so annoyed that I threw it all out after like 5 years and rewrote the renderer in Vulkan. So we're missing a few higher level features, like there's no good anisotropic filtering. There's actually no mip mapping at all right now. So some of the nicer aesthetic features need to be re-implemented, but I've been so much happier with how the Vulkan API works in general. So I'm definitely not disappointed about the change. Gotta snipe that mute button when I cough. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Zith. 13-month. Holy shit. Hell yeah. What features are missing from OpenGL? So it's a weird line to walk, because technically none of the features were missing. It's just that Vulkan's architecture makes all the things I want to do so much easier. Like, OpenGL's obsession with bind slots makes bindless stuff really important, but bindless is really annoying to do with OpenGL. It silently fails at a lot of really critical things. Like, for example, if you want to have a persistently mapped buffer, which is where you have bytes on the GPU that you can manipulate on the CPU, without any synchronization points or transferring data back and forth manually. If you try to allocate too much memory for that in Vulkan, it will give you an error code. If you try to allocate too much memory for that in OpenGL, it will pretend it worked, but instead just allocate all that memory on the CPU and then copy it to the GPU every single frame. Which is why when I tried to implement indirect rendering, where I basically continuously uploaded my chunks into a persistently mapped buffer that was several gigabytes large, my entire game engine crawled down to like 20 FPS, because it wasn't actually putting anything on the GPU, and it was sending the entire mesh buffer to the GPU every single frame, which is really fucking annoying. On-screen celebrations, Zithia used 40 bits, does that do something? What does that do? I've never seen that before. Was there a thing that happened? You see them? Okay. That might be a Twitch-only thing. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, misleading. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Is like, OpenGL will do its very best to make whatever you do work, but like work in the most technical, barest capacity where it doesn't crash. And it has no sane way of pulling limits or actually like confirming that what you've asked it to do is actually being done in a performant or like functional way. Whereas Vulkan is built from the ground up to encourage you to check that something's possible and then do it only if so, and like handle the falling back yourself if it can't, which I really prefer because I want to be able to write fallbacks to make sure that my code is as efficient as possible on all of the devices that can run it. It's a new Twitch thing that rolled out recently. Yeah, I remember seeing like the bit reward things. You actually cannot turn them off, which is interesting. I wanted to turn off like the visual ones because simulcasting means that like it won't be seen for everyone because it's not actually embedded into the stream. But you just can't do that. Yo, big emote. You're having fun with all this new stuff, Zith? Also, OpenGL has much worse multi-threaded mesh uploading than Vulkan. I haven't done any of the multi-threaded mesh uploading. They cost money! No, sorry, I didn't catch that one. That's fucked up. You're a crazy person. Yeah, Vulkan has much better multi-threaded mesh uploading than OpenGL. OpenGL can technically do it, but I've looked up guides for how to do it for years. And admittedly, I didn't look all that deeply into it because I was never at the stage where I wanted to commit to it. But like, it's a mess. Whereas in Vulkan, you basically just do it. I see all these little bit rewards coming in. Jesus. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, so, my code's broken. I'm gonna drink some chocolate milk. This is the last functional build. I just grabbed it out of the build folder. It wasn't actually built using the code we have right now. Because last stream, which was like, code broken, impossible. I wish. I so wish. Last stream, which was like 3 weeks ago, I think, if I remember properly, we found out that my game was segfaulting because it was running out of GPU memory because I was never deleting any of the entity meshes that were allocated, which is certainly something. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so, for example, let me... Actually, I might have disabled entity rendering or something to stop the segfault. Or maybe it was only ever on the debug build. Because, yeah, there's supposed to be, like, a wireframe outline. I'm just gonna do this for fun, then. Wow, look, world edit. Oh, yeah, there's also some... I fixed that. Okay, this build is old. Yeah, these ghost meshes in here are fixed. Yeah, but so basically, what happened is when I swapped over from OpenGL to Vulkan, Vulkan doesn't synchronize mesh removals. So in OpenGL, when you create a mesh, and then it starts getting used, and then you delete the mesh, it will wait until any pending usages of the mesh and the GPU are finished. Because the GPU is like a completely different piece of hardware, right? It's asynchronous in this weird way. You can technically delete a mesh after you've made your last draw call using it, but before the GPU is finished using it. And in OpenGL, that case is handled. It will wait, and then it will delete it when it's safe. But that's slow. In Vulkan, that doesn't happen. If you just tell it to use a mesh, and then you delete the mesh without checking if it's like actually done, then you'll probably get like memory corruptions. So my fix for that was when I re-implemented entity rendering in Vulkan, apparently I just never deleted the meshes, which is fine when there's no wireframes, because the only entity that's in this entire scene is a skybox right now. And it's initialized once and then rendered perpetually. But on, like, when we have the wireframes going, every time you look at a new block model that has a different outline, it has to generate a new wireframe mesh, and those just keep stacking up until the game explodes, because no meshes are deleted. So what I'd like to do is fix that so that we actually track when the entity meshes are being used and then purge them afterwards. So I guess let's see where I was with that. Hopefully I can remember. So let's just look at the diff. Oh my god, 35 files. Why did I do this to myself? I don't commit as much as I should when I'm working on personal projects. Why is this... Oh, so that's just stupid clang tidy warnings. Okay. Okay, entity mesh now has a dimension associated with it. That seems wrong. Why is it? Oh, because it calls add entity mesh. Okay, I remember what was happening. I remember. So basically what we were doing last time was we were creating a buffer that held all of the existing entity meshes, and then we were trying to run instance rendering on those meshes. And then when the mesh's reference count hit 0, we waited for a GPU flush, as in like all of the commands that we've told the GPU to do have already run, and then we delete the mesh. Simple reference tracking. But the very last thing that I realized was that associating the entity meshes with the dimension is not what we should be doing. Because unlike Minecraft, where you can only see one dimension at once, dimensions in Zephyr include things like ship worlds. Like if you want to have like an airship, then it is qualified as its own dimension that renders within the larger dimension, right? And also I want to be able to have portals where you can actually see the other side, which means that multiple dimensions can very easily be rendered at once, which means that we shouldn't be storing the meshes in the individual dimensions, because then we might end up having duplicate meshes of like the same entity because two different dimensions are trying to render it at once. So what we really should be doing is having some sort of entity mesh buffer that is scoped to the game object itself, which is the thing that coordinates and handles all of the rendering for everything. And I'm assuming that I started that somewhere. Unless I didn't, I'm not sure. Let's see, what entity mesh stuff do we have? This code is all pre-batching. Right. So, new wireframe code to make it actually work. I have no idea. Oh, this is just because I apparently typoed the name of all of this. That's nice. See, this is why I should make my commits actually focused, because there's so many diffs here that just don't mean anything at all. Client dimension. The only change here was that I added remove mesh back. Okay. Dimension Atlas interface, just got rid of some unused includes. Client interface, we made the emit p char event take a string so that Unicode works, I guess, I'm assuming. I think I remember that from 3 weeks ago. Okay. The mesh definition. Hey there, Drawsage, how you doing? What changed here? It looks like just some optimizations with how memory was loaded for the mesh def. Ah, okay. Here we go. Wait, maybe. Yes. So, in the mesh atlas ads, oh no. In the mesh atlas, we have a vector of vkmesh buffers, and a vkmesh buffer basically stores multiple meshes in it. Minions Happy Meal. I don't understand. I was at McDonald's like last night because I went swimming and then I was really hungry and McDonald's was the only thing close by, don't judge me. And there was like so many Minions ads around and it looked like it was like for the original movie. And I was like, what is happening here? Did I like enter a time portal? Is this time travel? Why are they advertising the original Minions movie? There's a fourth dropping. There's another Minions movie. Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright, so yeah, our mesh atlas has a list of buffers. And then I want to make sure, so I made a stupid mistake last time where I made like a unique pointer or something, that I didn't end up needing a unique pointer for, because I realized that it wasn't reference tracked, very specifically. Broke because no more time. What is this code? What did I write here? I'm sorry, I'm just going through this looking at, and like being confused, right? I know that's not like the most engaging content, but I'm just like, I haven't touched this in 3 weeks. I tried, but my brain felt like it was like a piece of goo that was in my head that really did not want to work or think about code, because COVID sucks. Oh yeah, side fact, I realized that the YouTube stream has like the COVID information disclaimer under it because I put the word COVID in the title, and I think that's really funny. Like, it's worried that I'm gonna give misinformation about having COVID. That's funny. Yeah. My only information about having COVID is it wasn't fun. I wasn't very vaccinated. Like, I got the original 2 vaccines when they were like coming out and COVID was scary. And then like for the last year and a half, my phone occasionally buzzed me being like, hey, you know, there's another vaccine available for you. And I was like, but I'm lazy and I don't like needles. So I didn't get it, and then I got COVID, which was not nice. So, you know, I'd say probably get your vaccines, because I feel like I would have had a much easier time with it if I had up-to-date vaccinations. But, you know, you live your life. Relatable software dev moment? Not understanding the code I've written or getting COVID? Hey guys, here's how you write a super simple script that turns off COVID. Yeah, all you need to do, okay, go into your main file and then write system.covid.off. This is the simple trick that vaccine companies don't want you to know. Someone should make like one of those stupid programmer mugs that have like terrible code on them that just has that on it instead. I want to code so badly, but the work of an artist leaves very little time to learn, hence why I'm here learning and watching. You're like, do you do like web dev, or not web development, do you do game dev art? Or do you do like character drawing? Like what sort of art do you do? Mesh buffer destroy. Oh yes, this toManaged function. This is what didn't want to exist. Yeah, this is pointless. Bit of everything over 25 years. That's really cool. I mean, like, totally, like, learning new things is super cool as well. But, like, actually working as an artist in the industry, that's really neat. Full-time job is immersed as an environment artist. That's really, really cool. Okay, I need to stop doing this right here. And that's gonna break this here. We're gonna move it and not return a shared pointer, because again, this handle.value is a very simple reference track. It just, when you create a mesh in the mesh buffer, it creates one of these item structs, and then when that gets deleted, using the destroy function, then it removes it from the buffer, which this is actually a smart remove in that it will effectively create a synchronization point on the GPU, and once that sync point is met, then it will delete the mesh, meaning that we won't get our memory concerns, we won't have fucked up things if we delete it before it's done being used, because our code automatically handles that. So yeah, we're just gonna return just the raw instance of it, because since it's a manual destroy anyways, we don't need to reference track it. The toManage function does allow us to auto destroy it when like all of the references go away. Basically what it does is it creates a shared pointer, which are, if you don't understand what a shared pointer is, basically every copy of the shared pointer increments a counter that is like contained within it, and then every time one of those gets deleted, the counter decrements, and then once it hits 0, it calls this method at the end, which will handle any destruction logic. In this case, I'm calling item.destroy, which removes it from the mesh buffer. But we don't need that reference tracking here, because each of these items are only going to be in one object. That's what I was confused about 3 weeks ago. So let's check for add buffered mesh. Okay, apparently that's never used. So that's probably the next step, actually. If I go to client, you should keep that COVID dot off in the game so that players don't get COVID. If it were that simple, that would be awesome. So here's the client scripted entity. It's effectively an entity object that is controlled by JavaScript, and it has a setAppearance method that allows the JavaScript to determine how it renders. And for the most part, that involves calling wireframe.create or calling makeEntityMesh or crashing, apparently. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, creating the wireframe. Huh, okay. So, what is this mesh object here? This is a shared pointer to an entity mesh. Okay, right. And so that's why we don't need the shared pointer to the item, because these entity meshes are already share pointed. But we do need a destructor. Let's go that. And can I auto-generate an implementation? No. Fine. I'll do it myself. Entity mesh. What? Entity mesh. 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 No. Mesh. Alright. Why didn't that work? I don't. Oh, it's more bullshit. Alright, mesh destroy. Alright, that should cut it. That should make it so that when the entity mesh is deleted, it destroys the underlying mesh data in the buffer. Now, currently, entity mesh doesn't work because we're trying to call dim.addEntityMesh, which does not exist anymore. In fact, where is entity mesh being called exactly? So, in our client scripted entity, we call meshDef, which is the mesh definition, I believe. Oh my god. Fix these. Okay, better. In our mesh atlas, yeah, this is where we have add buffered mesh. So this is what we need to call, not add entity mesh dimension. So in our client scripted entity, we need to go make entity mesh. And instead of passing in a dimension anywhere. So this takes an entity identifier, a renderer, a texture atlas, and the textures. Let's go after the renderer and put this meshes or game.meshes. Yeah. Oh, game.as client game. There we go. So that'll give us the meshes. And then, I think that'll do the trick. 'Cause yeah, if we go mesh atlas, we'll also need to adjust that in here. Then we're going to be able to add the mesh to the mesh atlas. Oh wait, hold on. So yeah, because this function here, this is what takes the client dimension, and this is what freaks out. Where are we even? We're not getting the... Huh. Oh, weird. Okay, so data, entity identifier, renderer, mesh atlas, textures, and entity textures. Alright. Entity identifier, renderer, mesh, or I think it's just called atlas. Yep, okay, there we go. It turned a different color, which means that it's probably the right signature, maybe. That's going to return a shared pointer of an entity mesh. That's good, that's good. Why is this out of line? It has a... Huh. That should be right. Hold on. I'll just copy-paste the signature, because I don't feel like figuring out what's wrong with it. Oh. Oh, it's significantly what? Hold on. Make entity mesh. Entity identifier. Renderer. What is different about this? Texture oh, the texture atlas order. Okay. That's fair. That's on me. Okay. I'm actually gonna rename this real quick to meshes. Okay. So that should allow the entity mesh constructor. Let me go to it. Ah. VS Code is so bad at... I guess it's because this doesn't actually match the signature, right? Yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. I guess that kind of makes sense, that it doesn't know how to go to this function when the function isn't right. Now what we need to do is mesh is equal to meshes dot or arrow, or is this an incomplete type? I think it is. Because it should be oh wait, no, this is just not public. That is my bad. I put the parameters out of order. I'm really good at doing that. Okay, where did my entity mesh go again? Where was I? Here. Yes, meshes.add buffered mesh. Oh, I missed some things. Zithia redeemed hydrate. Thank you. I took an introduction to a computer science course several months back, and afterwards felt like I could make anything. I barely understand what's going on here, which just motivates me to learn more. I mean, I'm glad it's motivating, But also, a lot of this might just be because my code's incoherent. And I was right, it was an incomplete definition. It just wouldn't tell me. Okay. Entity, or mesh atlas. It's in source common atlas. Actually. Okay. So now we can call add buffered mesh render and info. Okay? I think that'll do it. So, hold on. Kawaxt says, trying to take mine. I assume that's computer science course. I want to learn how games work by making my own very simple 2D engine in TypeScript. LumaFox says, do you have the source? Well, actually, I'll respond to that first. I thought this was a big, long conversation. Yeah, making a 2D engine in TypeScript is a good start. I mean, like, the main thing that I'd say is, like, the game dev tooling for web dev stuff is still a little bit scattered and horrible, which is maybe something that you're fine with. I mean, I've done web dev, game dev before, and it's, like, it's fun, for sure. But, like, there's a lot of bullshit that you kind of have to deal with. So, you know. Yeah, do you have the source for this hosted somewhere in case we want to look at it? Unfortunately, this project isn't open source. It used to be a long time ago, like, just source available, because, I wanted people to be able to see it, but it's kind of getting closer to the point where I could actually maybe sell it, so I don't have the source available, unfortunately. Zith did another 100-bit cheer? Is that a cheer? That's what a cheer is, right? Thank you. Why are you doing this? Why are you cheering when you could make more big emoji? That's the real question. Speaking of engines, what are some crucial matrix functions that I should really implement for a 2D-only engine? I mean, a general rotation, scaling. I mean, like, ultimately, if you do make a 2D engine from scratch, it might be beneficial to do WebGL stuff under the hood to kind of learn the fundamentals of 3D rendering, which means you'll be working with 3D matrices regardless, just that you'd only be rendering orthographically to a 2D plane, right? You've been doing Java for 1 year, Rust for 10 months, TypeScript for 1 month, and Scala for less than a month. You want to learn making web browser games. That makes sense. You're doing more giant emoji, oh my god. Using the HTML5 Canvas API, okay. Happy now. I mean, I'm slightly worried for your decision making, but yeah, I like the big emoji. The HTML5 Canvas API is quite slow from what I understand, but if the goal's a learning experience, then that's fine. Otherwise, I'd really recommend using the WebGL library if you wanted to actually get it to be, like, fast. Okay, so what is happening in here? So we successfully made the entity mesh. It's flagging this as an error, which does not make sense. It's saying no member named add entity mesh in client dimension, but we don't have add entity mesh in here anymore. I think Clang is freaking out. Let's restart the language server. That didn't make it go away. Restart extension host. There we go, that works. Learning experience importing a Flash game over. If I want, I can do WebGL later. Yeah, that's a good mentality then. Yeah. Well, best of luck with that. I know I did some early web game stuff in Phaser. I would not recommend it to anybody. Phaser is a complete disaster. But, you know, it was fun regardless. Okay, so the mesh is created. Now, what's wrong here? Add entity and remove entity. Right. Legacy browsers don't support WebGL, so Canvas 2D works best. What legacy browsers do you have to support, though? Like, realistically at this point, who is using Internet Explorer that's also going to play a video game online? Because, like, everything else should be fine. Okay, client scripted entity.setAppearance. What is last mesh? Oh, that's just... Okay, that's a shared pointer. And this is also a shared pointer. Non-pointer operand type mesh item is not compatible with null pointer. Oh, I see. I want to make sure retro enthusiasts could make things simply on Windows XP and other versions of older of Linux and older macOS. Basic limit to macOS 10.15 and Windows 7 Linux at this point doesn't matter. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You redeemed a stretch. Okay, stretch. It's honestly good to stretch. I've been, like, kind of doing, like, the gamer lean because, the last, like, couple weeks I've been really tired, and it's genuinely been less effort to just lean forward than to sit straight. And it's been really, like, making my spine sad, because I've just been, like... Posture check? What? I just did... Okay, fine, I'll sit straight. Fine. Target, Chrome 109, Edge 109, Firefox 115, Safari 115... No lean. Okay, fine. I won't lean. Right. So, let's see. What are we doing here? Hold on. I gotta cough again. Okay, what is model exactly? Model contains a mesh and texture references. Oh wait, no, sorry. This is the entity. So what is model? What does model actually have in it? This class is probably entirely redundant. It just contains a few methods to pull info from the model armature. I should probably just store that directly. Okay, well, thanks past self. Yeah, I do see that. It's model armature here is what stores like bones and stuff. The only thing in here is just get bone transforms. What is this IDE? This is VS Code. I've just heavily modified it with plugins and stuff. Yeah, why don't I have methods on just the model armature? This code is old, so I'm just assuming something's terrible in here. I'm not gonna touch that. But yeah, so model is fine. Mesh is what we actually need to worry about. Okay. So if we create a wireframe, then we set the mesh and clear the model. If we set the appearance to none, then model becomes empty. But we don't set the mesh to none. We should probably do that. Right there. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. No, why did you do more hydrates? I'm running out of water here. I need to go grab more water. 1 second. Okay, back and alive so far. It's cool seeing how people change up VS Code to meet their needs. It's a nice looking layout and theme. Thanks, yeah, it's, the theme is IU Mirage bordered, I guess. It's from like the IU themes. This is like vanilla Visual Studio. I don't think it looks very nice. Yeah, this is IU Mirage. And then the font here is Operator Mono. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how much you can change with it. My setup also looks nothing like stock install, but it's way more useful now that I put the time into it. Yeah, I really like Visual Studio. Visual Studio Code, I should say. Because full-on Visual Studio is gross as hell. Because of how customizable it is. Like, I really like plugin-based things. I was using CLion until very recently to do, like, C++ development, and it was just bothering me so much with how obnoxious it was. No Visual Studio rules, actually. I don't like it. It's only on Windows. And I'm not a Windows user. I'm a stupid Linux user. And also, it really bothers me that MSVC is like packaged with it, and without getting like the whole 20 gigabyte Visual Studio package, you can't have like a C++ compiler for Windows. Coax says mine looks like this. Is this image? Ooh. Okay, so you've got like a high contrast theme or something going on there. It looks like you also have like the material file icons, which I also have. Cool. Nice. I need to figure out what the hell handle entity set appearance is doing. Visual Studio has C++ hot loading, meaning you can recompile your engine while it's running, huge time saver. That does admittedly sound very nice, although I've seen a lot of stuff where hot loading ends up being really, like, awkward. I cannot ever use the default theme ever again after GitHub Dark. I mean, yeah, I just think, like, the vanilla VS Code theme is, like... Oh, that's dark. Ugh. I hate this, like, bright colored bar at the bottom. Oh, I guess you can't see it because I've got that cut off. But there's, like, a weirdly bright colored bar at the bottom of Visual Studio Code. Why not use JetBrains CLion for C/C++? I used to. I recently swapped away from it because it was so slow and so clunky and so frustrating, and I just didn't want to have to deal with it anymore, honestly. Yeah, I just, it really bothers me when things aren't very responsive, and I found CLion very slow to, like, actually update when I type anything. Yeah, I know that the fact that it's made in Java really contributes to that. And then, for some reason, like when they made CLion Nova, all they did was change the underlying engine, and they didn't change any of the actual rendering, which I found really annoying. Probably for plugin support, but at a certain point, you just gotta fix what's broken. And then, like, I started getting, like, extra rendering glitches that never happened before Nova, where, like, sometimes the pop-ups, like these sorts of pop-ups, would come in semi-translucent in a way that would prevent me from reading anything that was even on them. And I was like, okay, this is a bit shit. Okay, so when I add an entity, it sticks it into an entity chunk, and then it also calls handle entity set appearance, which removes an entity from the appearance groups list. And then... Okay. I understand, I think. I understand what's happening. So, this entity appearance groups thing, this is because we can benefit from instancing if we have the same mesh for multiple entities. Basically, if you have the same exact mesh and you need to render it multiple times with a different configuration of like position and animation state and whatever, you can do instancing, where you tell the GPU to render it like 20 times or whatever, and then you give it a big list of all the data for each instance. And I believe I have that right here. Yeah, so we go through the appearance groups, get the number of entities, get some iterators, get the number of bones for each entity. To do this is scuffed, thank you, past self. Then we allocate a bunch of space to put like all of the matrix data for the bones and stuff. Then we write that render data in, and then we draw all of the entities, I think. Let's see, draw entities. Yeah, it calls bind, or command draw indexed, vertex offset. Shouldn't there be like an index offset? Oh, there's an index offset right here. Okay. Yeah. Nice setup. This is what mine looks like these days. Ooh, let's take a look. A light mode user. Whoa. I mean, it's a very nice looking light mode theme, but also that would burn my retinas. Dracula for the win. Isn't it called Darkula? Isn't it like some stupid pun? Everyone's getting super opinionated about color schemes right now. This Rust code looks weird. Yeah, I've taken a lot of the Rust type names because C++ ones are so fucking verbose. I don't want to write uint32_t every time I want to u32. Like, that's just so annoying. I've also got some like gross-ass JavaScript aliases. Like, I'm using let, I believe, yeah, for auto, and const for const auto, because I wanted it to be 3 letters. Yeah, my C++ code's a bit shit. It's not great. Like, it's clean, but it's slightly horrifying in how it's, like, actually structured. Yeah, big light theme enjoyer here. I think for the dark mode, I'm just using one of the default themes, but I rarely use it. Yeah, once I became aware of the existence of dark themes, I never went back. I've seen people do define func and prefix every function with func for easier greppability. Ugh. I don't like that. Wait, define func? Like just so it's empty? Like that, and then so that they can go like func. Wait, how does that actually work? But why? I don't like that. Oh, func int main. Okay. I mean, that's not, like... Okay. It's sinful, sure. I kind of understand... I understand. Okay, I understand the purpose. Well, wait, couldn't you define fun to auto? And then you could do, like, the postfix return signature? Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. I like that. I mean, like... It does horribly mean that you could use auto for, like, with the word fun, but, you know. Return needs to be a suffix. Yeah, I know some people are really opinionated about doing this. And, like, that's fair. I do think it's nicer, but I'm not dedicated enough to write auto everywhere just to be able to postfix it. But, you know what? Honestly, maybe I will do this, and I hate that you've made me think about this, but I might actually start doing this. Yeah, no, you can do that in C++. It's weird. I actually love writing uint32t. Wait, why do you like writing uint32t? Like, are you just very code masochistic? Prefix returns are ugly. I agree. Like, I don't like how the return type has the highest, like, lexical priority if you're reading left from right. Like, I want to know what the function's called before literally anything else. C++ syntax is out of control. Yeah, I know, like, they just keep adding extra ways of doing the same thing without deprecating the old ways. It's kind of horrible. You completely lose the mathematical aspect of a function this way. It's profane work. Hey, what do you mean? The mathematical aspect of the function? Even Scala, a Java language, does the Pythonic system. Yeah, yeah. It's so messy that I couldn't handle it after Java. That's fair. I like its horrible things, but, you know. They needed postfix return to make things like I return the same type as the type of the argument and for closures. They don't need that. Like, you can do templates, you know, like tx tval, right? But I understand, and also for closures. Do closures use postfix? I guess they do. Oh. How horrible does C++ have to be to not be approachable unless you wanted to slice your throat? I mean, I'm not gonna go that far. Like I said, I like bad code to a certain extent. Like, I like horrible things. So, like, C++ is kind of fun for me. Because early in my journey, I didn't understand what a uint32t was before, and now I'm deeper in and it explicitly matters. It definitely explicitly matters. But, like, why the long name? Like, is the long name important? C++ programmers amaze you. Because we're all, like, willing to put up with gross shit. Oh, I see what you're talking about, the auto-sum. Yeah, I think that is possible now. That's fair. They can work with something so complex as if it were an everyday common sense thing. I know it's not everyday common sense, I just delve into the horrors until I understand it. Sometimes you want uint16t. I know you sometimes want that, which is why I have all of these defined. Right? Like, oh wait, those are the max values. I have all of these defined. I can access any of them. Hey there, Fireshowa. Hi there, Nef2019. Oh no, shared pointer is not RC and unique pointer is not box. I really don't like the names of the, like, boxed memory things in Rust. I think they're super unintuitive and I still don't understand them good. Oh, thank you for the gift sub, Zith. Learned programming through C++, but I learned... oh, Voxel game in C++, respect, thank you. Learned programming through C++, but I learned C# before making a voxel game. I really dislike C#. I don't have, like, strong opinions about C#. I don't like the .NET stuff. Yeah, no, Tokyo, all of these types here are just shorthands. Like, I still have all of the explicit type signatures. I'm not just using the word int because I know that's kind of not a good thing. Also, can I just say, the fact that int is equal to long, and long is an actual long, and long int, I believe is, like, the same as long. And I believe, like, if you write long, it just says, there are too many longs. C++'s types are horrifying. Hey there, Edge Extrude. God, I've gotten totally fucking derailed. Imagine an enum that is a primitive C-style enum, for example. Wait, what am I reading? Hold on. I don't understand box TPH, and it made me put down Rust for a little while, something to pick back up later when I have the spoons for it. Box, from what I understand, is just a unique pointer. Like, it's, it is a stack allocated thing that has a heap allocated thing. And if you move the box, it only moves the stack allocated thing. So it's basically a unique pointer. You're moving by reference, but it still maintains, like, creation and destruction semantics. Like, if you delete the box, it deletes what's inside of it. You can use C# Core now, which doesn't have a lot of the Microsoft crud. It still compiles to IL, though. I don't actually know what IL is. My first experience was with .NET 2 and .NET 4. C# left a horrible taste. I'm working with F# for work right now, and while I really like the language, all the .NET tooling makes me really sad. .NET just feels really yucky. Okay, so I need to, So what is group.second here? So entity parents groups.group, it's going to be a shared pointer of client scripted entity, which is going to have a shared pointer of an entity mesh. So I should have entity mesh get mesh. Or let's just go s pointer, because we want it to be perhaps null, right? IL is an intermediary language rather than machine code. It's good for cross-platform, but it's easily reversible, so you have to obfuscate C# like Java. I really don't like intermediary machine code languages, like the JVM language. It really bothers me. Like, 20 years ago, I understand it, right? Like, there's so many different architectures and stuff. But, like, nowadays, there's, like, AMD and Intel, like, 64, and that's it. And it really, really annoys me that we're still using intermediary languages that are slower and clunkier and worse. But yeah. Turn mesh. I'm actually switching back to C++ now because I'm tired of the IL stuff. Yeah. Maybe a good call, maybe the worst call you've ever done, because C++ is also a clusterfuck. God, I really want to do the function thing now. I really want to do this. Why would you do this to me? Why would you make me realize this is a possibility? Ugh. I'm just gonna, like, toss this in here. And I'm not gonna rewrite all of my code. But I'm just gonna keep that around, you know? For the future. For the future. AMD 64, ARch 32, ARch 64, i386, i686. I'm gonna be honest, I don't recognize all of those. I'm not that deep into compiler or architecture for CPUs. Are all of them, like, regularly used? Like, i386 is Intel, like, x64, right? And AMD 64 is AMD. Like, what are the other ones? Oh no. AMD 64 is x86 64. Well, we don't need to care about 32-bit architectures anymore. Like, those are so beyond, like, being useful at all. Like... Oh, ARch is ARM. That's interesting, yeah. Yeah, like... I don't know, where are we actually using 32-bit architecture still? Okay, handle entity set appearance. S pointer entity mesh. Older processors, but I don't care about older processors. Like, I don't know. Hey there, Jason, how you doing? I take offense to that, goblin, but you know. You have to target 32-bit ARM device. I have to target 32-bit ARM device for this class project for embedded systems. You want to try to hellishly optimize your Voxel engine? Bench it natively on an old machine that isn't even 64-bit. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. Are embedded systems really 64-bit? Not sure. I'd be surprised if they're not 64-bit at this point. Admittedly, I know I'm saying this, I'm just pulling this out of my ass, so I could be entirely wrong. But it would make me very sad. Cheap-ass devices. When will they invent the 32-bit leg device as opposed to ARM? Thank you. Okay, we'll send the meshes in here. Oh yeah, so remember like 3 weeks ago when I streamed and I was like, I'm moving house at the end of the month. That's tomorrow! I get to move house tomorrow. I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to it for a while. And, have I packed yet? No. Of course not. Why would I do the minimal set of preparations that I need to do? No, I am gonna start packing today after this stream. Don't worry, I'm not a complete fool. Well, I mean, I am a complete fool, but it's mostly independent of packing. Do you have to be out by the first, or do you have wiggle room? No, I have plenty of wiggle room. I just want to be out by the first. Really hoping for Qualcomm to do PC ARM CPUs for a good few years more so I can move to ARM. Are they planning on not doing ARM CPUs anymore? I've heard terrible things about x86. I've, like, briefly poked around the x86 assembly spec. Like, I am not knowledgeable about it at all, but I learned about MIPS, and that, from, like, school, and that let me, like, know enough to read a little bit of what some of the x86 instructions were, and I was like, oh my god, these are awful. So, I'm here for ARM, because I've heard it's a lot cleaner. There's still 8-bit and 32-bit for the cheaper devices, though. But, like, are you really gonna run, like, Java or C# on those? Sorry for the cough. You can give a few years into the market and see how they can get... Really talking for the cheap devices like some Win devices and for the Medio. Not laptops. What about Risk? I know nothing about Risk. I've never even heard of it. Also, Jason redeemed Hydra. Okay, no, why do you guys keep redeeming Hydrate? Is it just because I keep coughing? You know that's a problem with my lungs, not with my throat. Posture check, too. Micromanaging me. Well, I'm trying to write some code. Water is good, fair enough. I recommend you don't hydrate your lungs. Well, we'll have to make it like a channel reward or something. Because if enough people want it, then I have to. Water, odor, Wuda? Need to hydrate lungs, redeem, yeah. ARM is Risk reduced instruction set. Ah, cool. Okay. So... this might be fine. I mean, to an extent. So, the main issue now is that our mesh needs to be drawn. Message effect. Oh, hydrate lungs now. I don't want to hydrate lungs now. That's called drowning, I know. That is a very animated message effect. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm just gonna see that in my screen forever now. Another hydrate! Oh, I thought I put a cooldown on this. I'm gonna drown even if I don't hydrate my lungs. We are too cool to be put down. Yeah, well. Sunglasses hydrate emoji? And then you sent nothing? There's no sunglass. Oh, it was emoji code. I got it. Well, I'm angry emoji. Can I, like, do a super big message on my own channel? Or is that gonna cost me money? It looks like I can. I can be angry. Yeah. Oh, looks like we got a spammer. One sec. Oh, why can't I delete them on the embed? Show mod icons. There we go. Ban. Be gone! I murdered them. I need to add a hydrate emote? I probably should. That would be fun. Do you want to make it, Zith? Alright, so... The only thing... what is the end goal of the project? The game engine itself? Or follow-up games? I'm making the game engine because I want to make this game called Zeus, which is a sci-fi, like, shape-shifting sandbox adventure game. You get tossed onto an alien planet because your spaceship crashes, which is not contrived, I swear. Your spaceship crashes, you get dumped onto an alien planet, and this planet has, like, a bunch of... Whoa. What the hell? What is... Huh. That was weird. And your, nice mountain gem. Mountain gem? Oh, Jen. Sorry, I'm blind. Yeah, I like these mountains. Why does... What? Why does it think it's not... Oh, I guess it isn't responding. Did it crash? I guess VS Code crash. Weird. That is procedural generation. The idea is I want to make a sci-fi game about shapeshifting into different alien forms to be able to traverse different areas, where each of them have, like, different movement mechanics and attacks and, like, strengths and weaknesses and stuff. And you can upgrade them to, unlock more capabilities and stuff. Yeah, and, every, like, zone with, like, different creatures will basically be, like, a different macro biome. So, like, the first area I want it to be this kind of, like, greenish-bluish jungle, which is, like, super emissive and has, like bioluminescence in the night. And then the second area I want to be, like, this kind of crystalline desert that's all, like, reflective and rainbowy. And then I haven't super gotten, like, the later areas down. I know I want, like, a kind of boreal forest that's, like, pink. And has, like big plant growths and stuff on these, like, massive trees. I know I want, like, a kind of corruption-esque area that's all purple and, like, rocky. Most of this content here is placeholder. Like, these stupid little dinky trees, they're all placeholder. A lot of these textures will maybe be redone, and there's gonna be, like, way more ground foliage and things. This is mostly just test content to make sure the engine works. But yeah, that's my long-term goal. Somehow RPG-ish. It's, I guess, kind of, in the sense that you do upgrade yourself. Like, it's not got, like, a big collect, like, the Gemerald's quest. But, like, I guess it has RPG mechanics. Like, Western RPG mechanics, I suppose. It's gonna focus a lot on, like, sandbox and, like, factory building and exploration, because those are the genres I really like. Like, I want to be able to have, like, some nice automation going. I want to have, like, unique resources in every zone so that you're encouraged to build outposts in each different area, because the areas are going to be really big to stop you from just, like, running back and forth between your one big home, and there's going to be stuff there to encourage you to, like, build infrastructure. So... That's the goal, anyways. I started making a sci-fi Minecraft clone years ago. I just ended up making a generic MC clone. I was initially... You've spent $6 on sending large emojis so far? Jeez. Okay, Zith. I mean, if that's really what you want to do. Oh god, sorry. I need to cough. I'm gonna... Okay, I'm glad you like the color palette. Yeah, there's definitely some fine-tuning I'm going to do, but this is, like, similar to the color palette that I want in the first area. I ended up making a Minecraft clone, sci-fi Minecraft clone years ago, ended up just making a generic Minecraft clone. This project started very, very long ago with me wanting to make a generic Minecraft clone. Basically, the idea was that I knew I wanted to make a Minecraft game where modding was like an intrinsically supported part of the experience, and that mods were safe and could be sent between devices. Which is why the core of this engine is that nothing is actually in the engine other than like basically the rendering and like the memory management stuff. All of like the blocks and entities and items and things, even like the player controller, is in JavaScript code. So that's basically what I started with. And for the actual game itself, I wanted to just make a like a Minecraft but more realistic. I guess I've been playing Vintage Story recently, and I realized that it effectively did what I initially wanted to do, which is interesting. But I eventually scrapped that idea because I wanted a more distinct like identity from Minecraft, and I put a lot of thought into like the sci-fi mechanics I wanted and like the narrative themes I wanted, and I'm really excited with what I've got sorted out now. God, I'm getting so backlogged on chat. I mean, I guess that's like a sign of success here, that I'm getting people to talk to me, but also like, so many words. And you wanted to make your own engine because you needed specific things that are not available, or just curiosity? I have a real problem with reinventing the wheel. Although for this project, I did actually browse around a little bit and look at existing voxel engines. Like, I messed around with Mindtest for like a year, and I was seriously considering trying to do my stuff in there and basically contributing to Mindtest and improving it. But Mindtest just has so many architectural issues that I just don't want to try and fix. Like, it doesn't have multi-dimension support, and so for the past decade, if people wanted multiple dimensions in Mindtest, they just take a vertical slice of like the bottom of the world and then treat it like it's a different dimension. And they can never really add multiple dimensions because their coordinate system is 3D. And like, how would they possibly do that unless they like do some jank-ass thing where like coordinates are modulo to the maximum world size, and then like higher dimensions just have like really high coordinates on some axis? But I don't know. So eventually I decided I'm just gonna make my own engine. I wanted to learn it, I like reinventing the wheel, and I like knowing everything from the ground up is, like, mine, I guess? Dark Ovidu the Original says, hey, is this a crypto game? No, it is not. I'm not a fan of crypto. Gmod style, nice. Yeah, for modding, effectively, yeah. Gmod uses Lua. Mine uses JavaScript v8. Like the web rendering engine that Chrome does. Okay, you guys are too knowledgeable for me. I'll be back in 1 year. Oh, I have model blocks too. Yeah, so technically, all of these blocks are models. Like, every model is loaded from a Blender, or not a Blender, a GLTF file. Did I install Blender? I think I did. Last stream, 3 weeks ago, I found out I didn't have Blender installed. Let's see if I can open something here, and then I can demonstrate. I think game Seuss mods default assets models. I think block foliage is probably a decent example. Yeah, okay, so effectively all of the blocks in the game are modeled. And the way that the engine optimizes and does stuff like backface culling and like mesh optimization is that each face of the mesh has a different material, and those materials have properties. So like, for example, if I select like front 0, that's this face, and its side property, which is a custom properties thing, defines what side of the block it is, and this face will be culled if there's another block adjacent to it that has its own face that culls the opposite side, like left. I'm sorry, what? Oh wait, sorry, it was front and back. And then there's other custom properties, like these floating faces have sway attached, which is a render mod, which causes it to like sway in the wind, which is not currently implemented in Vulkan, but will be soon. And then, what else? There's like conditional rendering, so like this grass texture has all these like extra bits on it, and that is how these pieces are being rendered. This kind of like, the coordinates are a little bit off right now. I've got some stuff in the works to fix that, but that's how like these edge textures are being drawn. They're all like this, and they have like this big condition string that queries the state of an adjacent block to see if it matches certain like group parameters for if it renders or not. It's a little bit overcomplicated, but it works quite well. It's all at like runtime. It doesn't have to store any state. That's a good reason. Learning how these complex systems work instead of just taking them for granted is super valuable. Oh yeah, I mean, I've learned so much doing this. Like, I know that people often look down on reinventing the wheel because you're reinventing the wheel, and like, I understand that. I get it. But like, also, I just really like making these things myself. Yeah, did you write your own parser for GLTF? I've done one for OBJ, but I've been wanting to do it for GLTF. No, that is something that I kind of was like, that's going too deep. So I ended up just using tiny GLTF. Yeah, that's a rendering glitch I should probably fix. Huh. Yeah, I ended up just using tiny GLTF, which is a header-only GLTF parser. But I did have to write my own parser for, like, animation stuff, because tiny GLTF does not handle that. And that was horrible. I had to learn how quaternions worked. And I still don't really know how quaternions work, but I understand them enough to, like, kind of get the animations working, which is good. You could make one of these explanations a video, and if someone else asks the same thing, you could just link the YouTube video. Yeah, that is ultimately my goal in the future. I have a YouTube channel. I'm actually simulcasting to YouTube right now. I can throw the link in chat. My last video was like 7 months ago because life just went really fucking crazy. But I'm so close. I'm genuinely so close to being done my next video. It's like gonna be 30 minutes long. I'm never gonna make a video this long again. But like, I realized the other day that I'm done making all the animations for it. The only thing I need to do is like collect some real life shots of just me talking, and then also record all of the lines that are supposed to be over animations and stuff. And my voice is too fucked to do that because of COVID. So I'm really annoyed about that. Like, I'm just so, like, I don't know, nasally? That's not really the right word. I just don't sound right now. And I want to sound good for the video, so I'm waiting it out, and I'm disappointed. How can understand car if me no understand wheel? Yeah, that's effectively it. I mean, it just bothers me to know that there's like a system happening where I don't understand the underlying stuff. Like for GLTF, for example, I understand how the spec works. Like, I've read through it. It's just, there's so many different options for how it can be generated. I didn't want to handle them. Like, for example, all of the vertex data can be in raw arrays, or it can be in an extra external file in like binary encoded data, or it can be inline in binary encoded data. And I just don't want to have to deal with that. So, yeah, I just used the existing GLTF parser. But it is very good to know how the GLTF format works in general, even if you're going to use an existing parser, because you're going to be working with it anyways at this low level. Like, all the parser does is turn, like, the JSON files into C++ structures that are a bit more normalized. I actually still have to rip all the data out and do what I want with it. Yeah, parsing file formats can be a lot. Coding modeling features is insanely math expensive. Be careful, I did some, it's hard. Yeah, it definitely is. I've just been bouncing around doing fucking nothing. Well, I've been talking, which is good, but yeah, matrix compression. I mean, you're not wrong, but I only need basic functionality and I've got my head around 3D transforms at this stage. 3D transforms are like a big learning curve, but they're also like incredibly useful. Quaternions. I'll never stop being afraid of them. So, right, what I need to do right now is draw entities needs a VK mesh. And right now I have a entity mesh. Yeah. And the entity mesh contains... What? Wait, huh? Oh. The entity mesh contains a VK mesh buffer item. So, at this point, basically what I need to do is take the mesh buffer item and pass that into the renderer. So I'll just plonk that in there. Why is this sad? Oh, oh, I can't do a forward declaration, can I? Because I use VK mesh buffer. I guess I'll import it? Although this is a circular import. No, wait, hold on. Have I fucked myself here? Because... I made my whole MC clone in OpenGL using no matrix math. All the transformations were done manually with Euler angles. Then I learned basic matrix math can go a long way. Yeah, that's awful. Like, I'm glad it worked. Like, I'm not saying your project is awful, but trying to do rotations and stuff with no matrix math, that sucks. Do any of you big brain C++ people know how to forward declare, like, a child of a class? Like... Forward declarations are usually... Like, I need this, but I can't do that. Fix available. Oh. Well, that's not a fix, because this needs the renderer. I guess it technically doesn't. No, it kind of does. Huh. Well, this is dumb. How have I managed to screw myself over here? Like, I could just move this out of a nested namespace. That makes me so sad. I think I have to. I guess what I can do is, like, call it VK mesh buffer item, and then I can still just have, like, using items equal to VK mesh buffer item in here. And this is gonna be sad because VK mesh buffer is incomplete. Okay, we can fix that. If I move this into its own file, graph, Vulkan, VK types. Why is this yellow? It is used. That's what VK device size is, isn't it? Yeah. Huh. Weird. Because, yeah, where's VK device size? I guess that's just in Vulkan. I guess I could just include Vulkan. Include... Oh wait, we're just gonna have class VK mesh buffer. And then I'm going to implement destroy in a C++ file. VK mesh buffer item, VK mesh buffer item, destroy. Okay, we're gonna need to include VK mesh buffer item.hpp. Okay. Oh, this is void. Okay, and now this... Sad because it's incomplete. Oh, yeah. Include VK mesh buffer. Client graph Vulkan VK mesh buffer, even. Okay, now that's not bullshit. Maybe. Client graph Vulkan VK mesh buffer. Where is the forward declaration? Yeah, but... Huh. And then VK mesh buffer will need to include... Wait, we do need to include VK renderer. We also need to include VK mesh buffer item. Okay. Now we have item is equal to VK mesh buffer item. Now in VK renderer, I cannot include mesh buffer, but I can forward declare VK mesh buffer item. And now I can have that as the type def here. Imagine if C++ modules were allowed to exist. That would be so cool. Okay. Now we can include VK mesh buffer item here. And now in draw entities, we can have our VK mesh buffer item. Oh my god. Okay. It worked, I think. I hope. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, so now the interesting things occur. We need to bind the index and vertex buffers. I think it's just adding another copy of the word buffer, which is funny, because my naming conventions are stupid. So this is the mesh, and its buffer property is a pointer to a VK mesh buffer, which has the buffer property of a VK allocated buffer, which has the buffer property of a VK buffer. Mesh.buffer, buffer, buffer. Lovely. Then we need to go mesh.index offset, I think. Then we also need to do... Well, we have mesh.vertex offset, so that's fine. Although, why is this sad? For the fifth argument, mesh.vertex offset being a U32. Oh, yeah, this should be... This is not the right type. Because that's the offset of vertices in the buffer by the vertex type. You know, you redeemed a hydrate. The buffer, 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 yeah. How could one understand what this means after 3 months? Not a bad question. I guess the answer is I'm the only one doing this, so I can just keep it in my brain. Yeah. But no, I respect that. That's fair. So we need a VK device size. for the vertex offset. And that actually needs to be set to mesh.buffer dot, or mesh.vertex offset times mesh.size? No, that's the size of the mesh invites. Wait, why is this the offset of the indices in the buffer by the index type? Oh my god. You'll always understand what you do, always problem comes with people, always until a year later. Even a year later, you'd understand. It depends on how large the code base is and how well you wrote it. Yeah, I mean, so really, I do forget some of the stuff I'm doing here sometimes. I'm not infallible, for sure. The render code specifically, I've invested so much time into that, like, I think I understand it relatively well. So, that's nice. Where the hell is vertex offset even used? Okay, there. Wait. I do just pass the vertex offset in vertices like that? Huh. That was a big thing I learned over the years of projects. Maintainability is greater than elegance or even efficiency in some cases. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, the render, I care about it being very performant. Also, I'm still very much learning Vulkan, so I'm not super worried about making it perfect right now. I'm mostly just worried about making it work and then trying out new things quickly. So the code's a little bit unmaintained. Also, this code is like 70,000 lines. Like there's so many lines of code in this project. So like I'm bound to forget some stuff at some point. Does Vulkan actually take the vertex offset in byte? Or in... That can't be right. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's go mesh.vertex offset times size of entity mesh vertex data. Oh, and this should just be const, not constexpr. I'm not judging. My MC clone was written while learning C++ or C# and learning OpenGL. The code's a mess. Yeah, it's one of those things, you know. Okay, what is this offset here supposed to be? Do I get any sort of hint? It's a device size, which to me hints that it's going to be in bytes, but let's look at the Vulkan docs. Let's observe the Vulkan documentation. VK command bind index buffer. Index buffer. What is this page? How hard is Vulkan relative to OpenGL? I had a lot of fun working with OpenGL, but for a near project, I'll probably need to switch. I'd say it's a lot harder, but it's also a lot more rewarding. Like, it actually does what you tell it to do, which is quite important to me. I feel like a lot of the time Vulkan, or OpenGL, just kind of does whatever the hell it wants, and that's quite frustrating. You need to do some hacky shader stuff, huh? Okay, let's see. No, give me this. Okay, offset is the starting offset in bytes within buffer used in index buffers. Okay, so in that case, VK device size index offset needs to be mesh.index offset times size of U32. Alright. Will it work? Probably not. Let's see. OpenGL is kind of voodoo, yeah. It likes to pretend that it listens to you when it really, really doesn't. What happened here? Cannot combine with previous type name declaration specifier. What? What? Oh. Okay. So function, I can't use the word function as a macro because, unfortunately, it's used by some stupid library. That's honestly probably for the best. Alright. Where's the next bug? I need to pass polynomial coefficients as shader module to do some hacky manipulation. Pass them as shader modules? Like, do you mean like uniforms? Wait, is it actually building? Oh, no, okay. There we go. There's the errors. What actually was this? Candidate constructor not viable, requires single argument other, but 5 are provided. What? Where is this happening? No matching constructor for entity mesh mesh. Oh, okay. I want a B-spline render, but that does not exist and GPUs are not made to support it. Yeah. What is happening? Hold on. So entity mesh takes entity mesh data, an entity identifier, a renderer, data, name, renderer, textures, mesh atlas, textures. Okay, we're missing the mesh atlas. Okay, now where is this called? Right here. Okay, textures. Game.as client game.meshes. This isn't the client scripted entity, so the game will always be a client game. Why is this red? Oh, because the types got backed up, I guess. It still didn't work. Hold on. Oh my god, so many words. Fucking C++ errors are so annoying. Okay, create. No matching construct at. Is it the same thing? So that vertical output log would drive you insane. It's not all that much better if I put it down. Like, here. Oops. Up here. Up. Up. Here. Like, it's pretty much just as noisy. I guess it's a bit better. You act like Vulkan isn't 100 times more difficult. Do you not find it that way? It's more difficult, yeah, but it's basically front-loading the issues, is what I've found. Like, with OpenGL, it's easier to get something appearing, but then it's impossible to figure out why it's not doing what you want. With Vulkan, you have to put a million fucking years of effort into figuring out how to do anything at the beginning, but then, like, once you understand that, you understand it, and you're better off. This is actually a lot better, you're right. Mesh Atlas and textures. Oh, I passed it in the wrong order. Needs to be like that. Okay. Let's see now. These? Draw entities. Mesh is a entity mesh dot mesh dot. What is this not? What are you? You're a VK mesh buffer item. So shouldn't this work? Let's see what happens. Oh my god, it built. It crashed my computer in such a way that it crashed the stream. That's interesting. Huh. Vulkan error 2. It built but stream crashed, yeah. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure. Although I should really... I know this is like a slightly dissatisfying place to end this, but I am feeling quite gunky in general from COVID. Some residual COVID bullshit. So I might head out for the day, given it's been about 2 hours. But yeah, I'm probably gonna keep poking at this a bit throughout the day. Although I do also need to prepare for moving house. But yeah, I'll be posting like in my Discord if you know, there's anyone that wants to see the progress on this. And I'll also be back next week, hopefully slightly less sick, to do another stream on the progress, as well as in my new home. So that's gonna be exciting. I'll maybe have a slightly better streaming setup, which would be nice. No promises. Jesus, going crazy with the bit rewards, huh? Yeah, but I'll see you all around later. If you want to join the Discord server, if you're new, link is on the screen, bottom right. It's arail.us/discord. Otherwise, I'll catch you again next week. Thank you, Zith. Alright. Bye everyone, I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun, despite the fact that this was like a janky stream for me, given, you know, my stupid health. But yeah, I'll be back at it again next week, and it should be even better. Stop spamming hydrates! I'm gonna finish this glass of water, and I'm ending the stream. Regardless of how many hydrates you spam, you can't get me. Alright,